Hello guys, in this video we are going to be working on an SQL marketing analytics project. So the reason why this project is important is because it's not just another generic SQL tutorial, but it is tailored to a business domain, which is marketing analytics. And also we'll be learning some advanced SQL queries and data modeling, especially if you're new to SQL or you're still a beginner. And as a bonus, we'll be building a BI dashboard in Data Studio. While building this project, I will also introduce you to key metrics in marketing used by marketers to track their performance in their marketing initiatives. And all this is super important because now you're not just going to end up being this generic data analyst, but you start building knowledge within a business domain. And if you didn't know already, business domain knowledge is actually what makes you stand out as a data analyst in today's era of artificial intelligence, where you can easily prompt an SQL syntax. So learning business domain knowledge is as crucial now more than ever. And it's also the reason why I've created a free guide to modern data analytics, which shows you everything you need to know about the modern data analytics landscape. You can find the link in the description below. Also, if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about the modern data analytics being applied to business domain. So remember to click the subscribe button and like the video if you find this valuable. To get started with this project, you're going to need the data set. So you can find the dataset that we'll be using for this project from the link in the description below. And our environment we are going to be using is Google Cloud. Now, setting up Google Cloud is very easy as long as you have a Google account. So just head over to Google Cloud Console in your browser and sign in. That's all it takes. And then you head over to BigQuery. So we are using BigQuery within the Google Cloud Console. And then you click on Studio. So when you enter inside Studio, you will be presented with this particular home page. And we can start by creating a new project so that we can use that project to work. So to create a new project, you just click on this icon over here, this label over here. And then you can click on new project here. So if you click on new project, you put in your project name and then click on create to continue. So we'll put in marketing performance, and no need to add an organization, so just click on create and continue like that. So now we have our new project created here. So you select on that project. If this pops away, you can always click on this here and then click on the project that you just created. So once we're inside that project, we are going to start with our project, right? Our actual SQL project. So you click on this Explorer button, and this here is your entire project. This here is your entire project assets, right? You have your data sets here, which is what we'll be working with. So when you're here, you have no data sets inside here. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a new data set. So we'll create a new data set and then we'll call it our raw data set. So when we are uploading, if you're uploading the data, you upload it inside this data set here. So just select on US and click on create data set. Then refresh and you would see your data sets inside here. So you click into your data sets, and once you've downloaded, the data that was downloaded is what to upload into your BigQuery dataset as a table. So you want to click on create table, and from the source we'll select upload. Then we'll browse the file that you want to upload. So you locate the data that you're uploading and then you select it and open. And automatically this will be labeled as CSV, and you want to ensure it's inside your project. The destination is inside your project. So this is marketing performance 50908, which is correct. And we're uploading it to our raw data set. Then for our table, we name it ad spend. Just name it, you give it the name of the CSV file. So we can just call this ad spend. and you want to click on auto detect for schema and create table. So you click on refresh and you'll be able to see your table inside here. We'll repeat the same process for customer and others data sets. So now that that is done, you can see all our tables that we'll be using inside BigQuery. So we'll just leave these data sets. We'll leave these data sets and we'll go and create a new data set. So this is where we are going to be creating our models inside. So create a new data set and name it analytics. Then make sure the data location is US and create data sets. Then refresh and you would see your data set inside here. So before we move further, let's take a look at what exactly we are trying to achieve with this project. So what we want to do is we want to create data models for marketing performance analytics. And what is marketing performance analytics? Marketing performance analytics helps marketers measure the efficiency of their marketing initiatives from ads to campaigns and to creatives. And then finally, we'll be creating a very simple BI dashboard for marketing performance. This shows the key metrics that they track when trying to analyze their marketing performance. And it's a very simple dashboard within Data Studio. So we have the MER, which I'll explain everything to you. We have the revenue, spend, ROAS, and CAC up here. And then we have the revenue and spend by channels. We have the MER and ROAS by time period. And then we have a table detailing out every important metric for the three different channels. So this is a highlight of what we are going to be building in this project. We'll also be creating the SQL script and analysis at the back end before rounding it up with our BI dashboard. So here's a list of metrics we are trying to achieve from our data set. We're trying to get the ROAS, the MER, CAC, LTV, and LTV to CAC ratio. And if you don't know what this means, I'll also be explaining to you what each of these metric means in marketing sense. So first, let's start with checking our data set and understanding what our data set is about. So in our raw data sets, we have ad spend, customers, and orders. And so starting from orders, our orders is a data set of every orders that were made by customers. Now, these customers were acquired through some ad campaigns. So we have our revenue, which is what the customers bought, and then we have the customers that made those purchases. Over at our customers table, we have the customer ID, which is the customer themselves. We have their first order dates, and then we have the acquisition channel. The acquisition channel is the channel through which the customer was acquired, as the name implies. Right, so they saw an ad on through email or through TikTok, and through that channel they got to make a purchase within the e-commerce platform. So our last table is the ad spend. Now the ad spend is a table of what was spent running ads across various platforms. So across various channels such as email, Google ads, Facebook ads, and TikTok ads. So we have this over here. So these are the three simple data sets that we'll be using to achieve that marketing profitability that we are trying to get. So the challenge now is from these three data sets, you're going to give the marketers you're going to give the marketers clear data sets that they can use and discover what their marketing performance is. And for them to discover their marketing performance, they will have to track the ROAS, their CAC, their LTV, and their MER. So now let's go into explaining and understanding what this various metric means. The first is ROAS, which is one of the most common metric that you would see within marketing. or within marketing analytics, right? Now, the full meaning of ROAS is return on ad spend. And what it simply means is it measures how much revenue they get for each dollar spent on ads. And the formula here is ad revenue over ad spend. It's very simple, right? So you will typically get a value like a multiplier value. So in this case, you could get 1.0, 1.5, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, or whatever. So what this means is for each dollar spent on ads, the business got $3 back in return, right? So they were quite profitable with their ads. And here you can see for $1 spent on ad spend, right? So this $1 is the ad spend here, and this $1 is the ad spend, and this $3 is the revenue. So let's call that ad spend. And call this revenue. Right. So once you do revenue over ad spend, you get 3.0, right? So that 3.0 indicates that for each dollar that they spent on ads, they got back $3 in return. So now the second key metric here is MER. Now MER simply means marketing efficiency ratio. This measures the overall efficiency across all channels. Unlike ROAS, which focuses solely on ads, MER focuses on all marketing initiatives because marketing initiatives within businesses go beyond ads. It can be through physical campaigns, through billboards, through organic channels like email and YouTube videos. So it tries to measure everything that was spent across all those marketing initiatives, the revenue that was earned from those marketing initiatives against the total spend, the total costs they took or they spent on running those marketing initiatives. So it's literally the same with ROAS, but at a different scale. And the interpretation is pretty much the same thing with ROAS, right? So for each dollar spent in marketing, they gain $3 back in return, which is why you see 3.0x. For our for our next two metrics, This speaks to customers. Now, the first is CAC, which is customer acquisition cost. This measures how much it costs to acquire a new customer, right? And the formula is ad spend over number of new customers, which could also be ad spend over conversions. Now, here's an example. So a business spent $9 in ads and they gained through their ads and through their campaigns, they gained 9 new customers. That would simply mean it cost them $1 to gain a customer. So their CAC in this case is $1. Now, the next is LTV, which gets kind of complicated because the calculation is not always straightforward. But for this project, we'll be using a very simple variant of LTV. So LTV is the total revenue or profit that a customer generates for a business over their entire duration of relationship, right, with that company. In the common sense, LTV is always like a future value because you're trying to calculate now and in the future of what that customer is likely to spend. So that is a bit more complicated version of calculating LTV, right? But it's usually the standard. So we have LTV equals to average order value of a customer times purchase frequency and that customer lifespan. So we won't be dealing with this particular version, this particular variant, rather we'll be using the historical LTV, which is simply the sum of the customer revenue over his period he has spent with us. So this is what we'll be using in this project. Then lastly, we have LTV to CAC ratio. Now, lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio compares the total value a customer brings to a business over the cost it takes to acquire them. So if it costs $500 to acquire a customer and over their lifetime value, they are worth $1,500, right? It means that this customer is a profitable customer. It helps them evaluate the long-term marketing health of their business. So back in our data set, how we are going to achieve those tables is the first we are going to try to get is our ROAS and our MER. So if you look at others, we have our revenue inside here. So we have our revenue inside here, and we have the customers that made that purchase. Then from our customers, we had the channel they came in through. So if we can get the channels they came in through and the revenue, the total amount of revenue made by those customers, we will get the revenue for those ad channels, right? And then inside the ad spend, we have our channels here. So we have our channels inside here. So what we'll simply do is we'll try to connect orders to ad spend. So you can go back to your tables and then you click on this plus here to start creating a table, right? To start modeling our data. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a table. Create or replace table. This allows us to create a table in BigQuery. And then we want to give it the name. We want to give our table a name. So we'll call it create or replace table revenue spend. All right, so let's just call it that. But before we do that, we have to select the data sets that we are creating this table in. So if you go into your data sets, we want to create it inside analytics dataset. So go back to our query and then let's remove that, and then we'll call analytics. And you should see your data sets here. So analytics, then give your table the name revenue spend, then close the quotes. So create or replace table revenue spend as. Then now we can start writing our query for that table. So what we want to do is we want to write a CT to get the revenue, to get the spend, to get the revenue from our orders table, and to get the spend from ad spend, and then join this together into a single table. So what we'll do is with revenue as, so with this code block here is referred to as a CT, common table expression, right? It kind of acts as a smaller block of SQL query within a larger SQL query. So we now click select, we now write select, then we'll go back and write the remaining ones. So once we select from our orders table and join it with our customers table. So select from orders, and you should see your orders data sets here, and then you just click on tab to select it, right? Even if you don't see your orders data set, you can easily write out the full name here. So select from raw data sets orders, and then we want to give it an alias of O, then left join with our customers table. So customers table, this will be C. And we are going to join on two parts on column ID, on customer ID column. Now, if you want to select columns from either of your data sets and you want to reference what those columns are, you can select on this spot here. So this is reference. And if you click on reference, you would see your tables, right? You would see your existing tables inside your project. So there are a lot of them from my recent projects, but let's go over here. You see ad spend, customers, and orders. These are your tables that you just created. So we want to check orders table. And can see order ID, customer ID, right? So we just we'll left join on o.customer ID. so customer ID, then join it with c.customer ID. Now, what do we want to do? We want to get the revenue for each channel. So we want to get the revenue from orders, and then we want to group it by the channels in customers table, because we are trying to get the revenue for true channels, right? That's what we're trying to achieve. So the green here is we are going to do customers. We are going to get channel from customers table, so customers acquisition channel. So we'll do c dot acquisition channel, then select acquisition channel, and you can select it as channel to make it shorter. And then we want to sum revenue from orders, so o dot revenue as revenue. So that's what we want to do. And then lastly, let's also use order dates, right? We'll use order dates and then we'll group our revenue. So we'll go into, so what we have here is we have order dates, which is this, and then we want to group it as months. So we'll do dates trunk months, then as months, then comma. So this here is our revenue CTE. If you want to test your CTE, you can select this particular block of code and then run it. So it says select list expression references o.other dates, which is neither group nor aggregated. So what we are going to do is we are going to do a group by 1 and 2. So we are grouping by months and by channel. Why is grouping by necessary is because we are doing an aggregate here. So anytime you're doing an aggregate, you have to group by something, right? Are you summing revenue by channel or by month? That's why the group by is necessary. So we are grouping by both months and channels. So here we can see the return, and we can see TikTok ads. We can see everything. We can see everything organized by channel and then by month. So we have TikTok ads for January, we have for February, and so on and so forth. So that's exactly what we want. Then the next, we've gotten our revenue. The next I want to get is our ad spend. So write the next city, spend as, then select from ad spend. So what do we want to get from ad spend? We want to get channel, we want to get spend, and then dates. So what we'll do is we'll do it similar to this, right? Date trunk. Then we'll do spend dates. Spend dates as months, group it as a month, and then your alias is as month, right? Then the next is channel, so just put in channel. That will do. And then the last is sum of spend as spend. Then we are going to group by 1 and 2, so by months and then by channel. So let's check this query also, and we can see our results for spend, exactly the same thing with our revenue. So next lastly, we are going to join these two tables together, right? So that we would have revenue and spend in the same table. So we'll do a final CTE. So let's call this final as, then select from, we are selecting from revenue and then from spend. So we'll just select from revenue R, left join spend S. So we are going to join on two columns, which is months and channel. So on R dot month equals to S dot month, and R dot channel equals to S dot channel. Then now let's go and select our columns. So what do we want? We want to get month, channel, revenue, and ad spend. We can call this ad spend. So we'll get months from R dot months, comma, R dot channel, comma, then R dot revenue, comma, and then finally S dot ad spend. So put a comma here. And our last city will just be simply select all from final. So now we have groups of cities, right? We have groups of query. This for revenue, this for spend, and this for joining both together. So if we run everything, let's see our results. Don't select the creator table, just select that portion, and we can see our results. Let's confirm if it's correct. So what we want to have is, you want to have channels. You want to have each channel for each month, right? Any more than this and it would be wrong. So you want to have TikTok ads for January, and the next should be for February, the next should be for March, and so on, right? So we have for March. Even if it's not there, then it's probably absent in the, so the same for, we want to ensure there's no duplicates, so all our results are correct. So once we are done with that, we'll now create the entire table. First, let's save our query. So save it as revenue spend, and then save. Once that is saved, you can now run the entire query and you get your table created. So we can go to table. Well, let's just go and look at it. So inside analytics, you can see we have revenue spent. So this is our first table that we've created in our analytics data set. So next, we want to create a table for our customer acquisition cost, our lifetime value, and then our lifetime value to CAC ratio. So we can just click on creating a new query. Now we are going to create our models for CAC, customer acquisition cost, and lifetime value. So we are going to use the same format we used in creating the previous revenue spend model. So do create or replace table. And then inside our raw data set, we're going to call it customer economics. Then so our first city would be to calculate customer value. So we'll do with customer value as, then select from customers, C, and then join, left join others. O. So similar, we are going to join on customer ID. So C dot customer ID equals to O dot other ID. So let's go and pick our columns. So we're going to pick, if we check our reference customers, we pick first order dates, acquisition channel, and customer ID. So dates trunk C dot first order dates months, then as months, and then C dot acquisition channel as channel. Then lastly, C dot customer ID, and then some revenue as customer revenue. Let's group by. So let me change this to customer ID. So we can preview our query. Okay, so we can go ahead and continue. Next is our customer costs. So we'll do customer costs as select from customer C, and left join ad spend as S, and we are going to join on two columns, which is on C dot acquisition channel equals to S dot channel, and on C dot first order dates equals to S dot spend dates, so equals to S dot spend dates, which is this one. So let's go and select our columns. We are going to use first order dates, acquisition channel, then we'll use spend, So we'll do date trunk, first order dates, we'll turn it to a month as month, then c dot acquisition channel as channel, and then we're going to sum our spend s dot spend as spend. Then lastly, we are going to have a column for our conversions, so number of conversions gotten from our ads. What we'll just do is we'll do count all as conversions. So let's check our table, run, select list expression reference column, which is neither group. So what we'll do, which I always forget, is a group by. So we always need a group by whenever we do aggregates. So group by 1 and 2, 1, 2. So let's run. And we have our results. So we have the months, email, spend, and conversions, which is 3. So these are for other months. If we do order by, so we can see it properly. So let's do an order by months and run it. So we can see for TikTok, Meta Ads, email, and Google Ads on January. So this is their spend and this is their conversions. This is the number of new customers they brought in for that particular month. So we are going to do our final city, final as select from customer value and customer cost. Select from customer value CV, then left join customer cost. On CV dot month and channel. So we'll select on channel and months. Channel equals to cc dot channel and cv dot months okay. So let's get cv dot months, cv dot channel, then cc dot spend as costs and cc dot conversions. So what's next we can do is get our lifetime value, so our LTV. So what we'll do is average of customer revenue, which is cv.customer revenue as average lifetime value. And then the next we'll get our CAC, our CAC. So we'll do save divide spend over number of new customers. So our CAC is our ad spend over number of new customers, and our new customers are our conversions. So we'll do spend and then cc.conversions as CAC. So this is what we need for our LTV and our CAC over here. We also have our conversions and we have our costs. So lastly, we'll do our group by because of the aggregations. So group by 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's order it. Order by 1. So let's go and complete our query. Select all from final. Okay. So now we can run this and let's ensure our information is correct. So yes, we have only 4 months for 4 different channels, and then we have their cost, conversions, average lifetime value, and customer acquisition cost. So we can go ahead and save this query. So call this customer economics. So now we can run the entire query. All right. Check for your table. Let me go back and think I didn't run. Create in. Okay. So here is a silly mistake. Let's use analytics, not analytics. So we're using analytics datasets, not raw datasets. So let's run this and save our query again. So save query. Then let's go and check, refresh, and we should see our 2 tables, customer economics and revenue spend. So if we go back to our data sets, we can go and erase that mistake that we did over here. So this is our customer economics. We can delete this from here. And refresh. So far we've gotten our CAC and our lifetime value. It remains our ROAS, MER, and lifetime value to CAC ratio. So what we are going to do is we are simply going to create those as a view. Now we'll go into tables. For us, we can create that as a full marketing performance table. So we will have everything under that table. We'll have ROAS, would have CAC, would have LTV, would have LTV to CAC ratio. So let's go ahead and create a new query. So we'll call this create replace table, our analytics data sets. We'll call this marketing performance table. So in this table, we will join our metrics from revenue spend and from customer economics. So let's go with marketing performance as select from revenue spend. So I want to select from revenue spend as RS and left join customer economics. CE. So we are going to join on our channel and our months as usual. So let's check it. We have customer economics and revenue spend. So we are going to join on months and channel. Months and channel. So we'll do rs dot channel equals to c dot channel and rs dot month equals to ce dot month. So let's go ahead and get rs dot month, rs dot channel, rs dot revenue. So let's report revenue. Report revenue. Then rs dot add spend. Rs dot add spend. And that's all from here. So let's go to customer economics. We'll report conversions, LTV, and CAC. So CE dot average LTV, C dot CAC, and CE dot conversions. So it remains two things. It remains our ROAS and our LTV to CAC ratio. So what we are going to do is we'll do save divide So we are calculating ROAS, and ROAS is revenue over spend. So we'll do rs dot revenue, comma, rs dot add spend as ROAS. Then next is our LTV to CAC ratio, which is LTV over CAC. So we'll do the same formula, save divide average LTV over CAC as LTV CAC. Okay, so let's see. Expected error keyword connection, got identifier marketing performance. Let's add this here as. So lastly, we can now do, we want to order by months and channel. So we just order by 1 and 2. So finally we can do select or from marketing performance. So let's run this. Okay, one more thing is our calculation of ROAS. So for ROAS, we are going to report only add we are going to report only ad platforms, only ad channels, right? So that is one way of calculating ROAS. We don't usually include organic channels in ROAS. And if you check our tables, you go to analytics, go to datasets. Let's go to analytics. Go to revenue and preview. So we have email, we have Google ads, we have Meta ads, and TikTok ads. And in this case, we categorize email as an organic channel, right? Not as an ad. So that's why ROAS is different, right? So since email is not categorized as a ROAS, since email is not categorized under ROAS, we'll be excluding email from our ROAS calculation. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our query and then we'll do where rs.channel does not equal email. So this returns ROAS for only Google ads, TikTok ads, and Meta ads, right? Excluding email. So this will work perfectly okay. So we can run this. Forgot a where. So let's see. You're supposed to take this up. So take this up. So let it be like this. Then run it. So we have our proper table. We have for only Google ads, Meta ads, and TikTok ads, no email. So this is the proper calculation of our ROAS. So we're calculating ROAS for each of these channels, right? The reason why we don't calculate ROAS for email is because we are categorizing email as an unpaid medium in this project. Now, in the real world, the business, it really depends on the business. They may categorize it as an ad platform, as an ad channel. Maybe they run ads through their email campaigns. So in this case, we are not categorizing email as an ad. So we are trying to make it clear. So in MER, which is marketing efficiency ratio, email will now be added to our marketing efficiency ratio calculation. So we'll get to that once we are done here. So let's save our query. Marketing performance, and let's run it. So we are done with almost everything. We can close this, we can close this. So here's our data sets, and here's our main table, this one over here. So what's left to calculate is our MER. For MER, we'll be using a view and not a table, because MER is just like a combination of all the channels together. So we are aggregating all the channels together, and the results will be kind of a very small data set. So a table is not necessary in this kind of case. So we'll create a new query, and for MER is very simple. So we'll just select from revenue spend. So we are getting our MER from our revenue spend table. And that's about it. So what's in our revenue spend table? Months, channel, revenue, and spend. We'll only take months. We don't need channel because we are aggregating the entire channel. So we'll do sum of revenue as revenue, and then sum of spend as spend, and we'll calculate our MER. So save divide revenue, which is total revenue, over total marketing spend. So we can group group by months, and then order by months. So we are going to save this. No need for this. So let's save as a view. So we are going to select our data sets to save it inside. So you select analytics, right? And then you can call this MER view. Save. Unrecognized name spend. Did you mean add spend? Okay. Add spend. So let's save revenue. Unrecognized name spend. Add spend. Okay, so we'll do a sum. We have to sum it here. Sum, and we'll sum this also. So this should work. All right. So now we can save as a view, and then MER view. So let's save it, and you can run it and see the results. So we get a query, we get a table for just our exact 12 months. So we have 12 months in our data set. We have the revenue, spend, and MER. So this is all we get for this particular view. So let's go back to our data sets, refresh. So now we have we've modeled our complete table here. And with this, we've already created the entire data set needed for marketing performance. We've literally created our ROAS, we've created our MER, we've created our CAC, LTV, and LTV to CAC ratio. That is all that is needed. So from these tables now, if the marketer or the marketing analyst have access to these tables, they can easily come over to the marketing performance table and make a query or preview. So they can preview the table or query it, right? So they can just query this table over here, and they easily see the entire results that they need. From here, they can easily get these results into Google Sheets or Data Studio. So what we are going to do next is we are going to build out a simple dashboard with this data inside Data Studio. So guys, get this data in Data Studio. We can close this, and make sure you're in your marketing performance table, right? Then you click on opening. So if you remember, our marketing performance is in our tables. So just enter inside our table and then click on open in and connect it to Data Studio. So let's click on Data Studio. And click on acknowledge. So here's the basic dashboard that we'll be creating, right? Our top cards would simply have MER, revenue, spend, blended ROAS, and blended CAC, right? Blended ROAS is literally just the sum of the ROAS, right? So you know here we have ROAS by channels. Blended ROAS is just everything blended together. The same thing with CAC. And then here we have a bar chart that shows revenue and spend for our separate channels. So here we have a table also. So let's continue. This report was allow okay, and this is what we get in. I get this when I create that dashboard. So you can just delete these two charts. We don't need this. We'll be starting from scratch. So delete, and let's name our table, our dashboard, marketing performance. Right, let's reduce this So we can take this and put this up here. So this is where we'll be starting from. Let's just save your dashboard. The reason why we are saving it now is so that we don't accidentally exit here without saving it, or else you start from scratch all over. Great. So click on theme and layout. Let's just change the background color to give it a little bit of this and change this to white. Change border color to this. So this styling is just my preference, right? Nothing too personal about it. We can change that to Montserrat. Okay, so now we can start. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to put a drop down. We'll add a drop down. And for your drop down, if it's on channel, you're going to change that to months. So let's change that to months. You click select setup, right, and then click on control field and select months. So if it's on months, we now click on style and single select. So remove search box. So now we can easily select a particular month, right? So now it's saying, you can see the month is all messed up. So we'll remove this metric over here. We don't need the metric. And then scroll down and click on ascending. So now it's ordered from January to December. So next thing I want to do is we're going to start with these cards, or rather we'll start with this table. So the table is pretty straightforward to do. So we'll add charts and add our table. We'll drag this to the end, and let's edit our setup. So go to dimensions, we would add channel to dimension. So we'll add channel to dimension. It's removed the months. You can add months or you can remove it. It's literally not, it's not that big of a deal for this project. So for metric, let's remove that. Then we'll add, let's start with revenue, ad spend, which is cost, and then ROAS, then LTV, CAC, LTV to CAC, and then conversions. So let's adjust. Okay, so that's basically it for our table, right? And if you go here and select a month, just select January, you'd see it filters only for January, so you can see everything just for that particular month. So next we are going to start adding our KPI cards. So over here we have MER, but we've not gotten, so we have to import our MER table inside here, our MER view inside your dashboard. So click on add data, then select BigQuery since it's inside BigQuery. Select your project. Our project is marketing performance. Right, so select your projects, then select your data sets within that project. And our data sets that we're getting is inside analytics. So we can see our MER view here. So this is what we want to use, add it inside. Okay, we've added it. We can click out of that. We see it inside here. So for MER, you can carry it and drag it inside your canvas. So we have MER of 0.7, right, for that month, January. So next we have revenue, spend, and blended ROAS and CAC. So we can go ahead and do our revenue. So drag revenue inside. You can also drag add spend inside. Great, so that is just about it. No, we won't be styling anything yet. So next we have blended ROAS and blended CAC. And here we have a bar chart. So before we go over to the blended ROAS and CAC, we'll come here and do this bar chart first. So we are going to add a chart and we'll add bar charts. So our bar charts will be from marketing performance. Ensure this is from marketing performance. Your data source is from marketing performance. Your y-axis is going to be channel. And then your x-axis is going to be revenue and spend. So select on revenue and then select on add spend. So now we have this. You can just drag this out. All right, so we are almost done. Let's expand this a bit. Expand this a bit. Okay. So next we are going to add our blended ROAS and blended CAC. So what we are going to do to make it blended, what we simply do is we'll go to blend over here, right? Go to blend or we go to manage blends. So let's just go to blend. So we go to blend and we add a blend. So we are going to join to MER view and we are going to, in our dimensions, you add months. Then in metrics, you add ROAS and CAC. Then name this blended ROAS. And for this, you add MER and then you join its left outer join. So you click on save. MER. Then our blend name is MER versus ROAS versus blended ROAS. So click on save and click on close. So now we have MER versus blended ROAS over here. So we can drag your ROAS and place it. And let's adjust this. Then also drag your CAC and place it here. So finally, we'll add this trend line here. So we'll go to the trend, we'll go to charts and add a line chart. Drag it. And let's adjust our metrics on it. So X dimension should be channel. So X axis should be months. And then Y axis should be, okay, your data source should be from MER versus blended. then month, MER, and then ROAS. So ROAS and MER on the y-axis. So let's adjust this a bit. Then go over to sort. We want to sort our charts by month, not by MER. So and then click on ascend. Great. Then go over to style, and in this series 1 and series 2 you want to click on left axis. Axis should be left and not right, so that it's this way from here. And then we can do some little adjustments. Show y-axis title, no need. Show y-axis labels, show y-axis right, y-axis title, that is already done. Show x-axis labels, no need for that. So we have this, and then finally we can now filter by months and see all our charts being filtered. So one more thing we can add is we want to not allow this drop down to filter this particular chart, right? To filter this trend line. So what we'll do is you select this one, select it, and then click shift and select every other chart we want our filter to affect. So plus your table, and then Control G to group them. So now if we filter by a particular month, it would not affect this one. So that is it for our basic charts. The last thing we will do is to add some formatting to our numbers. So just go over to each of them. So go to MER and you click on this pencil right here. So on that one, you click on display formats and custom number formats. So click on this and click on X, and then apply. We'll do the same thing for ROAS. So click on default number and then add X and then apply. So for revenue, we are going to add a currency. So click on the pencil, then you select currency, and then you use US dollar or any currency that you fancy using. So the same thing with ad spend, number, currency, US dollar, and the same with CAC, because CAC is also a currency. So we'll turn it to currency US dollar. And you can equally repeat that for other charts also. So you can repeat it for here, and you can repeat this formatting for here. You can just go down to our table since the table is more obvious, and change formatting for our revenue, our ad spend, CAC, and then for ROAS, default X, apply. For average lifetime value, we change that to a currency, US dollar. And then LTV to CAC can be left like that, right? Conversions can be left like that. So this, we've completed our basic dashboard for our marketing performance analytics. So this is our entire project. We have our tables inside BigQuery. We have our tables inside BigQuery, and then we've created our dashboard inside Data Studio. So guys, with that, we've completed our marketing performance analytics project. And remember, if you loved this video, please give the video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to the channel. If you have any question regarding the projects, you can drop the question in, you can drop your question in the comments below, and I'll make sure to answer those questions. So see you in the next one.